Hey everybody, and welcome back to History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. Today we're going to continue with part 6 of my Fleetwood Mac scrapbook, my little time capsule here, courtesy of a wonderful fan that is no longer with us, who liked to go by the name of Starlight, which is just really awesome. And we're getting into what I consider the meat and potatoes. Now let me, do not misunderstand, this whole scrapbook, in my opinion, has just been fantastic. We're really coming upon some of the parts where I think is most exciting. So this episode is going to be a little bit longer, because if I try to separate it like I was going to do, it would have made the next part too short before I get into the part. You'll understand. So, and also there's just some kind of stuff that, is not really anything that you haven't seen or anything that's not unusual. Like, for example, this first page, which is just the back of, if you had noticed, I had mentioned Stevie had, the lady had cut out some of the stuff, but she put this one in her scrapbook, Stevie side up, of course. But some of the things, she cut out some of the 45 sleeves, and she would cut them out, separate the front and from back and put one on one page, another page. Just one she left whole. Like I said, she just put it in with the Stevie side up, Stevie and John. It is a wonderful picture of them. Actually, one of my favorite pictures. I don't know if you go back and I've probably said this already in a video or two or three or five, but I really do enjoy the pictures of Stevie and John together. There's some really cute dynamic that we just don't think of. We know the whole Stevie with Mick. We know the sisterhood of Stevie and Christine, and we know the relationship status with, Stevie and Lindsay and how that had its ups and downs. But this little kind of out in left field, John is so quiet and he just always kind of stays in the back. And when they interact, it's very adorable. It's really, it's just a sweet thing. And I just really wish I knew a little bit more about how the relationship was. I mean, obviously as a bandmate, amazing. But, did she interact with him much, outside of just little stuff like that? Just be cool if we heard from Stevie a little bit more about John. But anyway, that's a cute one. On the other side is an article. What does this happen to me every time? I drink water. Excuse me. As I was saying, this is an article. I don't remember what this magazine is from, but I do know that I had it in my articles folder. But still, it's really cool to see again. Great picture of Stevie there. Literally, if I'm not doing these videos, I don't talk. I don't have anybody, my boyfriend comes home and we can just kind of sort of talk. We text a lot when he's at work. And so I just think it's literally like speaking for the first time in a day. It's so, not to sound like I'm a hermit, but I am. I think that's kind of funny. I think that's what happens, is that maybe I should just start my camera and start talking for 5 minutes before usually when it's time to get involved, that's just what I do. But it's just me talking out loud. You had to suffer through that. I apologize. This is the remainder of that article. There wasn't really much to this article. You saw by the title, A Forgotten British Band. So it did really concentrate on the fact that, Fleetwood Mac was a blues band before the, addition of Stevie and Lindsay, and that they're doing quite well, though, that they may have been a blues band, but they're not hurting right now as the lineup for that. So that is first page and second page of the article. On the back here, this is really cute too. I used to have this. I swore I had this because I know there's actually been a couple of them. But this was 30 Things You Never Knew. And I know that a couple magazines have put out, 30 Things You Never Knew, but this is Rockline. I'm telling you, I have this one. And the fact that I don't have it with my collection anymore, like I remember, like that stands out, really just surprises me, because I can't believe some of the pieces that I have that I've had since 1980, whatever, you know what I mean? So now this one came out, I'm going to guess, in 79, because that's where we're at. So that's possibly why. But I still thought that I had one of these from a magazine, say like in 1982 or 83 or something like that. But anyway, for the Stevie part, it's like, the 30 facts you never knew, because, okay. Her real name is Stephanie, and she's from a wealthy family. Okay. While she was growing up, her dad, Jeff. 30 Things You Never Knew. Her dad's name was Jeff. My name is Jeff. Jeff Nix was a president of the Armour Meat Company and vice president of Greyhound Bus Company, with an exclamation mark. Wow, that's so amazing. She's 31 years old, wants to have a baby sometime before her 35th birthday. I mean, that's yes and no. She often fantasizes about living in a house in the mountains far away from the Hollywood hustle. For now, though, she makes do in a large beachfront condominium. Lady from the Mountain, maybe. The natural color of her hair is mousy brown. Okay. She's been accused of being a hypochondriac and complains often of sore throats and colds. Yet she gets very upset when newspapers and magazines hint that she might be losing her voice. That's a new one on me. She doesn't like going to parties and living the rock star life. She describes herself as a very lonely person. I need love, Stevie says. I think she was doing just fine going to the parties and stuff like that. I can imagine her being a little bit of a wallflower at the beginning, but not by this time. I think she's fine. She's just fine. And that's not a bad thing about her. I'm just saying I think she's very comfortable. She knew who she was by this time. Christine McVie, one of the facts that about her is that she keeps an ongoing private diary about her life as a key member of Fleetwood Mac, which perhaps she'll publish someday. That's really interesting to hear because A, it could have been just at the time, but B, since she's passed now, that would make for a book. Again, probably, much like Stevie or anybody else, probably they don't want anything like that to come out until, all the, pertinent parties have passed, which I certainly don't want to happen, but morbidly, I say I hope I live that long that if things like that do come out, it would be an interesting read, but I don't mean anything by that. Hopefully you get what I'm saying. Lindsay, let's see. At 29 years old, his most prized material possession is his electric train set. Okay, that's he lives in a ritzy Hancock Park. He lives in the ritzy Hancock part of LA. I was able to lay down some of the Tusk tracks. 9 of the 20 songs on that LP are his composition at his home studio. Since splitting up romantically with Stevie, he's been dating model Carol Harris. Let's see, for John, we have John McVie. He's the only member of the band who doesn't talk to the audience when on stage, except for the dance tour, I think, right? He's 34 years old and admits he used to have a drinking problem. I think it was pretty much over by then. No, maybe not. He has a crush on Linda Ronstadt, but is now happily married to Julie Rubens, who used to work for the group's former business manager. Since his new marriage, he's become quite mellow. I always wonder what happened. It seems to me that I read somewhere that there's something about him approaching Linda Ronstadt and it not going very well. Kind of, I don't want to say she was snotty towards him, but kind of, for lack of a better term, just that kind of mean girl kind of thing. I met Linda, so I don't want to say anything bad about her. She's fine. She's nice and everything like that. And I didn't go up to get her, went to a sign in, got to talk to her. How about that? But in essence, met her. And she seemed so cordial and so nice about her rock and roll lifetime and all the people she's been around and stuff like that. But, John McVie is such a little quiet guy in the back and stuff like that. So I would hope that it wasn't like that. That it was just like hey, listen, sorry, can't go there, can't, just not interested or something like that, instead of it being kind of a snotty snub on him. That would bum me out. Mick Fleetwood, he's 31, admits to suffering a nervous breakdown a year ago, but he puts those rumors to the side. He tisk is what they said, like Tusk, cute, of the band's imminent breakup. He's a bit of a joker and once considered using all of Fleetwood Mac's gold records as doorstops. Naturally, he's a founding member of the band, which began in its first incarnation in 1967 and often acts as manager. So those were just some of the highlights. On the back here, we have a little bit of even and odd stuff. This is nice with the unique photo. Kind of hard to make out, so I'll leave it there for a second. Hopefully you'll be able to pick it up. Because when you first look at it, you're like, where's the face and stuff like that? You see it, but it's because she just got her head turned enough to the side. But yeah, it's kind of a weird picture. Fleetwood Mac headlines at Coliseum. It's now officially the sensationally popular Fleetwood Mac will headline a Coliseum concert Tuesday, May 20th. The current Fleetwood Mac tour has been internationally acclaimed by critics and public alike. This is again from Scene magazine, that magazine that came out in Ohio, I want to say. And Scene witnessed the group's Ann Arbor, Michigan performance because, if you recall in a couple other videos, they weren't near Ohio, so that's where the first people had to go. Much of Fleetwood Mac's new show is built around the double LP Tusk. The band has already had solid success with the LP's 2 singles releases, Tusk and Sarah. Both were nationally charted in the top 10. The Mac's Cleveland appearance should be further fueled by the expected success of the band's recently released third single, Tusk. And Think About Me. That song's composed by Christine McVie and is backed with Lindsey Buckingham, Save Me a Place. So I think on this part, maybe, I don't know what that part is from. Lindsey Buckingham, I like it all right, but it's a little strange for us. I mean, when we were romantically involved with each other, well, that was one thing, but now it's a bit weird spending almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with your ex-girlfriend and not seeing your current lady for maybe weeks at a time. But I like getting out there and doing it. Seeing the fans' response, it's energizing, and I don't mind the travel so much. So I guess asking about how weird is it being with Stevie on the road, which I can imagine. And then this, I used to love this. And I didn't try as hard as I ought to have, I think, but this used to be used to get these in magazines where you could write to Fleetwood Mac, and it was always Warner Brothers Studio, which meant jack squat. Probably if you sent it, maybe you would have gotten something back, but I just always found that it was never really an address of, something to write to. But far-flung Fleetwood, the Fleetwood Mac World Concert Tour, which began last October shortly after the release of their double album Tusk, continued into 1980 with a major concert schedule in the Far East. The group played dates in Japan, Australia, and New Zealand before finishing off with 3 shows at the Blaisdell, I hope I'm saying that right, Blaisdell Center in Honolulu, Hawaii. Fleetwood Mac first toured the Far East in the fall of 1977 as part of the world tour that released the release of their award-winning Rumors. After the Far East concerts, the group took a short break before resuming the tour in the U.S. and Canada. Plans called for them to perform throughout Great Britain and Europe for 6 weeks beginning in May. So they were just all over the place. So this was just kind of another little hodgepodge of just little excerpts and stuff. I like this font here, them being in concert. Little picture of Stevie out of a magazine. This is what I just read out loud. That's cute too. Fleetwood Mac special. I don't know what that is. It almost looks like something that 10 p.m. Like maybe they had I don't know, like maybe something at a record store or something. A little ad for that. It's just really cute. On the back of this, we have this picture, which has been shown a couple times. Picture by Sam Emerson. If you go to some of my earlier videos, you'll see that I have quite a few outtakes of this. It's kind of cool because she kind of cut it out like that, just kind of give it a different look again against this red backdrop. Again, just so much fun to see how somebody put together their scrapbook. And that's what you did. I mean, I've talked about this in prior videos, but that's, you worked with what you had. Now there's just so much, all around me. Thank God it's out of view for you guys, but all around me, I just have all these papers and glues and glitters and tapes and blah, blah, and just, it's all here. It's all around. Plus here, I pretty much moved it, but now down below me to the right is just still a full box, just still full of all the stuff that I need to get into my scrapbooks. And yeah, just so much, but this is then, and back in the day, you just slapped everything onto a piece of paper, and this was considered, arty. This was unique, doing something neat or cutting it out like that. So that was pretty cool. This again, some more little excerpts. This one is a really cool little piece. I was talking to a lady whose mom did this, and she said she recalls very, very clearly. She says, when you get to a couple points where it's the whole group, just like their heads, and it's all cut out, she says, I can just remember her doing that for hours. There's this one, and there's another one coming up. And again, these are just really lots of, this one especially is about the show, and then this one is about Brian Wilson and Christine McVie getting together. And then this one was one of the many times, I want to say, not many, I'm exaggerating. Not much, but one of the times between Mick and Jenny, things not going well. On the back of this one, now I don't think I have this as a article in one of my scrapbooks, but this was a little piece about the California Jam, which, look at that audience. Look at that audience. Can you believe that? I know we still have concerts like that, but we just don't anymore. We just really don't. We have Coachella. But nobody's going to concerts like this. I mean, Coachella is just more about showing up and looking cool. I'm sure it gets busy in front for some of the people, but back in the 70s and 80s, we had like these concerts just all over the place. I think we have some stuff in Golden Gate Park in San Francisco, and I know there's some stuff in the UK and England and stuff like that. I can't think of the park there, but where they filled up, but just not. This is just so often in those days. This great little picture of Stevie from that time. Bob Welch. This was one I had found not too long ago, so it was nice to see another copy of this, and it was just something unusual. And I never really knew what year it came out, just because Mick has had the beard, not had the beard, and his hair's all, so it's obviously 79 to 80. But this was just an ad out of a magazine. And this, I don't think I put. I may not have shown this because I do have this already, but I'm not sure if I put it with the article binders or if I put it in a scrapbook. And if I have it in a scrapbook, it's a page I did and didn't show. So it might be in with the articles. It's just him promoting the drum makers and drum heads designed especially for rock. So it's Ludwig, I think I say it, rockers. Another article out of Circus Weekly from February 27th, 1979, talking about Stevie Nicks possibly going out on her own. Definitely something I had with my albums of articles, complete articles. These coming up here, I really don't know. I have to, I know and I don't know, but I couldn't tell you. I can't place it. But Eagle Eyes out there might be able to place for me. She obviously saw something on TV and had, done some screenshots, which is pretty cool. Not sure. I mean, I can see by the, I know it's so dumb, but like by her earring and just kind of how fluffy her hair is, it kind of reminds me of, I want to say they're overseas for this one, but I don't remember. But maybe I'm completely wrong. But she kind of had browner hair towards like tusk time when she was overseas. Her hair kind of went really brown for a while, and also in front of for getting the star in front of Fredericks of Hollywood for Fleetwood Mac Day. Her hair was just more on the brown side, so I want to say it's somewhere in between there. Another great little not article, but Winterland Productions, which is still running out of San Francisco, to my knowledge. I got stuff from them not too long ago, and I saw something else recently that they're still running. They used to have send for your complete Winterland Productions catalog, only $1. Rare vintage Fillmore posters catalog, $5. But they used to have magazines and stuff, and this little advertisement here, they had T-shirts, jerseys, gym shorts. They would, anything. Belts, buckles, posters, program, decals, and buttons. So that was kind of cool. And it's so funny. All these little things here are little pieces out of Cream magazine, and they're just kind of those little snarky things. This is dumb little letters that people would send in, but they're, I would cut them out too, good, bad, or ugly. I can totally just picture this. And then going with that other one I mentioned is this one here. I was telling you the lady was talking about remembering her mom cutting them out. This one and this one. I have no idea what this is from, but it's pretty cool. Not so great on the Stevie part here. Funny enough, I just got a shirt of a band. Sorry to go off tangent. I do. You must like it here, or else you wouldn't, or you must really like my picture, so you wouldn't stay here. But I got a picture of a band called Bauhaus, and it's one of their famous songs is Bela Lugosi, and it has a picture of him. It's the band's name on top, and then Bela Lugosi, and then but he looks like this. It's funny enough, he looks like this. So I understand it's kind of a caricature. So it's a copy of their album cover or the single cover or something like that. But it's almost like they forgot how he looked, like how to do it. It's like somebody clearly just didn't take the picture properly and then turn it into a decal or press onto a shirt. And I got it from Etsy, but I'm telling you, I swear to God that these people are buying them off of Temu or something like that and selling them through Etsy, because it looks so corny, but it's really like, his face is off. His nose was kind of over here. Not really, but you know what I mean? But I love this, but it's so funny because actually John looks like Wolfman Jack right there. If you know who that is, should have your eyes checked because you're as old as I am. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they all kind of look funny. I think Lindsay and Chris look about as normal. Nick, that's not his fault. That's just the paper looking funny. But Stevie, I just think kind of looks, but it's awesome. And I get cover story. I don't know which one this came from. This, oh, look at this. Let's see if I can read it here. I don't know. I guess possibly because the next page is this. So possibly is this article here. Still can't figure where it came from though. Maybe a newspaper? Because I can see the back and it kind of looks like, contents and such like that, but it's too stuck. I can't get enough off to see. And again, I'm trying really hard not to take it all the way apart. I really want to keep this album as much together as possible. Yeah, it's a cover story, I guess it is. So it's just another article about how the band's doing. Sorry about that. And being on tour and such like that. So, and then another picture she must have taken from the screen. And then last, there's this really neat, my first time using neat tonight. Tried every time I went to go say something, I'm like, don't use that word. I should make it an Easter egg and see if you find out when I say it. M105 FM World Tour Concert Series for a chance to win a trip to London to see Fleetwood Mac, which I can only imagine this person was just beside themselves trying to win. I know I would have, even though I don't have a passport, but I don't know what you had to do. I'll be listening, I guess, for details. And deadline to enter was May 27th. So, yeah. Again, I don't know where they got this, but I think it's so cool they did, because if I had found this again, I would have kept it, just a simple little thing about a contest. No pictures, no nothing, just a little piece of ephemera that, was definitely meant to be thrown away, not kept. So it's just really cool that something like this is still circulating out there. So that is it. I hope everybody has a great week. Has had a great week. What is this going into? Nope. I have, oh my God, what day is it? Anyway, I have the good stuff coming up next. I thought it would be for Monday, but I guess maybe we have Friday. Hell if I know. Just smile and nod, and trust me. Maybe when I show all this stuff, you'll be like, oh, Christ, I waited all that time for this. And maybe you won't be so excited. I am. I was really super excited. So I hope you like it. I hope you enjoyed this one. And thank you for putting up with me and coming again. And we'll see you next time. Bye.